Hello, my name is Pete, and today I want to talk to you about a new flash that I've been using quite frequently lately, and that's the Godox AD200. And it comes in this nice little suitcase, so to speak. And when we open it up, here's the contents. So there's the flash itself, there's the charger, there's the power cord for the charger, there's an adapter, because the flash itself, as you will see, doesn't have a hot shoe, so it comes with its own adapter. I'll talk more about that later. I have a different adapter that I actually use with it. And then it also comes with the bare bulb accessory. So let's take it out of the box. This is the actual flash. As you see, it's not much bigger than a standard hot shoe flash. It's a little bit heavier, but again, not that much. And it doesn't have a hot shoe. So it is really meant for off-camera use, right? It has a rechargeable lithium battery, and it works with the Godox 2.4 GHz ecosystem, so you can use it in conjunction with an AD-600 or with the Ving V860 like this one. So they all play nicely together. Now there's an LCD screen on the back, which is actually maybe one of the few less positive points about this flash, is that this is relatively hard to read in bright sunlight. But then again, you can read all the controls on your trigger, so it's not really a big problem. One of the very cool features of this flash is that it packs 200 watt seconds, which is about 2.5 times the power of a regular speed light, into this tiny package. So it's really, it keeps on going when a regular flash just doesn't deliver enough power anymore. Or on the other hand, if you were shooting a regular flash at full power, well, you could shoot this at around a quarter, somewhere between 1.25 power, and still have a faster recycle time, for example. Yeah. So one of the nice things is that it, by default, it has this head on it, which isn't zoomable. That's one thing you need to know. So I think it's about set fairly wide angle, so it's like a regular speedlight head, but without the ability of being zoomed. But you can detach it, and then you can add this little adapter here, and then put a bare bulb flash in there. And that's really nice, because let me see that I align it correctly. There's a red dot in there to help you do that. So and now it becomes a regular studio flash with a nice round bare bulb head, which, if you put this into a modifier like a softbox, will create a much nicer, much more even lighting pattern. And so both heads come in the same kit. So really cool to use. There is a bracket with it, and you can either screw it into this thread or into the one on the bottom, depending on, especially important with this head, if you want to have it vertical or horizontal. Now, one thing I do find with this bracket is that it's very difficult to keep it tight. So, for example, when I hold the flash like this, and if you put a little modifier on there, it will drop. So personally, maybe one of the few flaws of this flash is the fact that the bracket it doesn't give enough grip. But to me, it's not really a problem, because I never use this bracket anyway, because the only thing this bracket lets me do is attach an umbrella. So what I much more prefer is to use this bracket, which is also by Godox, and it's relatively cheap. And this is the Bowens S adapter by Godox, and S-type adapter is the full name, I believe. And this is a really cool thing, because you can just slide in the AD200. It barely fits, but it fits. Or it's actually meant for smaller speed lights, but as I said, this one fits nicely. You can tighten this screw here a little bit, and then you can use this AD200 with whatever Bowens mount accessory that you want, like the SMDV speed boxes, which I really like, or whatever else that has a Bowens mount, like for example this reflector. See, so, and this is a really sturdy bracket, and I really like to use it. And again, for the price, it's a no-brainer. Okay, now Another thing that you should know about this is that there's also an Elinchrom version of this bracket. So if you have really those nice Elinchrom softboxes, like I have a couple too, and you want to use them with Godox or Bowens mount systems, flash systems, well, then you can use the Elinchrom version of this adapter. It's fairly recent, so it might not be available everywhere, but it does exist. Okay. Now, one of the things with flashes in general is that you know how it goes. You start with one speed light, and soon enough one speed light will become too weak for you, so you move to the next thing. And for me, the next thing now is this AD200, but then you'll walk around and you'll start using bigger modifiers, or you'll start working in much harsher sunlight, and there will come a point where even the 200 watt seconds of the AD200 isn't powerful enough anymore. So what do you do then? Well, Godox have come up with a really nice solution. That is, if you have two AD200s, well, and I happen to have another one lying here, then they now have this one, the AD-B2, and this is a very cool optional head. Let me open this up. Let's put this here, which allows you to attach two AD200s and combine them into basically one 400 watt second speed light, but or flash. But the nice thing is that, contrary to a regular 400 or 360 watt second flash, if you have two of them combined into one, you can actually break them up again and into two separate light sources for those instances where you don't need all that power, which is very hard to do with one 360 or 400 watt second flash, obviously. So how does this work? Well, you just take your AD200 and you clip off this here, and you just clip it on, kind of slide it on until it snaps into place at the back of the adapter. Then you take a second AD200 and you clip that one at the other extreme. There you go. And then you just use the bare bulbs and you plug them into the front like that, and the other one it's fairly new, so I still have to figure out which side fits into which little hole here. And there you have it. Then basically you've turned two AD200s into one AD400, and then you have to obviously put them into the same channel and the same group, and then I can just trigger these from this trigger unit. And so another interesting thing is that these units are brand agnostic, so to speak, so they have receivers built into them for Nikon, Canon, Sony, Olympus, if I'm not mistaken, and also Fujifilm, which is one of the reasons why I love to use them, because this is the first and at this point really the only decently working HSS and TTL system for Fujifilm users. So that's a nice bonus. Now, trigger-wise, there is the X1T, which exists for Nikon, Canon, Sony, Olympus, and Fujifilm. But Godox are also working on an X Pro trigger, and that's basically even more powerful than the X1T. But if you're in a rush, I'd say the X Pro trigger already exists for Canon. It has been announced for Nikon. But if you're in a rush to start shooting this with Sony or Fujifilm, I would say just get one of these triggers, the X1 series. They're like 50 or 60 or 70 euros, I think, and then get the Pro one when it comes out for your specific brand of camera. But a very nice system to use, because again, this is a Bowens mount accessory, so this again fits nicely, and with 400 watt seconds you can fill a pretty large modifier with that. And again, if I'm done using this, I can break it up into two separate units, which obviously isn't the case with any of the other dedicated 400 watt-second flashes. So there you have it, a really nice, in my opinion, very versatile piece of kit, the AD200 and the new AD-B2 dual bracket, flash bracket for the AD200. That's it for this time, folks. See you on the next video. Bye bye.